Chosen one, this message is for you, and only for you. If you are not walking the divine path set by God, then this message is not for you. But if you are one of the true followers of God, someone who has felt the weight of being chosen, then stay with me. This is a message that has reached you at just the perfect time. It is no accident that you're here right now, listening to these words. God has placed this message in front of you for a reason, and it will change your life if you open your heart to receive it. This is not just another video or another spiritual lesson. This is a call to your spirit. I know many of you have felt the exhaustion of being strong for everyone else. You've carried the burdens of those around you. You've been the pillar, the light, the one others turn to, but it has taken a toll on you. You are tired and you are not alone. You may have wondered why it feels like you are giving and giving yet not receiving the same in return. But now it's time to understand why. This message is for the chosen ones who need to hear the truth. Stay with me until the end, and let this revelation renew your strength. If this resonates with you, comment with 777 below and let me know your thoughts. And before we go deeper, make sure to subscribe to the channel, tap the bell icon and share this video with those who need to hear this truth too. The burden of being chosen. Chosen one, let's talk about the weight of being called. It's not a light matter, is it? There's a heaviness in the calling you carry that most people could never understand. You have been selected, not by chance, but by God Himself. And with this selection comes a burden, a responsibility that can sometimes feel like a curse rather than a blessing. But trust me, it's a divine blessing in disguise. From the outside, people may see the strength you exude, the confidence you carry, and the way you support others with unwavering devotion. They don't see the weariness that settles in your soul, the internal battle that wages within you. Nor do they understand the constant spiritual warfare you face every single day. Being chosen means that you are always on. You can't simply shut it off. You can't take a break from being the light, the strength, the rock for others. That's part of the calling. You are the one people turn to when things get dark. You are the one who is expected to hold it all together, to have the answers, to be the one who never breaks. But here's the truth. Your soul needs rest. The challenge with being chosen is that you are often expected to be strong for everyone else. You carry their burdens, their fears, and their hopes. You lend them your strength when they have none left, even if it means draining yourself in the process. It's like being a well that everyone draws from but never fills back up. The weight becomes unbearable, and sometimes you wonder how much longer you can keep going. But this is where the divine paradox lies. You've been chosen to walk a path that requires more of you than most people can ever imagine. You were never meant to be just another person blending into the crowd. You are called to stand apart, to carry burdens that no one else can, and to shine in ways that others will never understand. Your strength is not your own. It comes from God. Yet, in your humanity, you still feel the weight. Being chosen is also about being misunderstood. There's a loneliness that accompanies this path. While others are caught up in the distractions of the world, you are called to something far greater, something that demands your focus and attention. And because of this, you often find yourself isolated. People don't understand why you can't just fit in, why you can't just live like everyone else. The sacrifices you make are not always recognized, and the burdens you bear are often unseen. You are walking a narrow path that requires you to give up things that others cling to: comfort, ease, acceptance. But that's the nature of being chosen. It's a path of sacrifice. You were never meant to be like everyone else. You were chosen to carry the weight of the world, to step into the spiritual realms where most people fear to tread, and to do so without hesitation. This burden is not something you chose for yourself. It's something God chose for you because He knows you are strong enough to carry it, even when you don't feel strong. Sometimes the weight of this responsibility can make you question everything. You wonder why it feels like you're always giving, always sacrificing, yet receiving so little in return. You may feel abandoned or overlooked, like others don't appreciate what you're doing. But here's the truth. God sees everything. He sees the sleepless nights, The prayers you send up in the dark, the times you stand alone when no one else does. He sees the price you're paying, and he's using it to refine you, to prepare you for a greater purpose than you can even imagine right now. Yes, it's heavy. Yes, it's exhausting. Yes, it feels unfair at times. But that's because you are being shaped for something extraordinary. Every step of this journey is part of your divine preparation. You are not meant to stay in this place of exhaustion forever. God will give you what you need to replenish your strength, but first, He needs you to understand the weight of your calling. Being chosen doesn't mean you are immune to struggle. It doesn't mean you are invincible, but it does mean that God is with you every step of the way. He's giving you everything you need to fulfill the purpose He has set before you. But you must allow yourself to receive His strength. You must allow yourself to rest when needed and trust that the rest will come at the perfect time. The burden of being chosen is not something to fear. It is a privilege. You are being prepared for something that will have a lasting impact not just on your life, but on the lives of others. The weight you carry today will eventually turn into the power you will wield tomorrow. It may seem impossible now, but trust me, what you are carrying today will be the very strength that will help you fulfill your purpose in the days ahead. And let me say this to you, your journey is not in vain. You may feel tired, but that doesn't mean you're done. You may feel weak, but that doesn't mean you are defeated. The strength you've been given comes from a source far greater than yourself, and even in your weariness, it will never run dry. Understanding the divine call. Chosen one, it's time to dive deep into understanding what it truly means to be called by God. You've felt the weight of this calling, haven't you? There's a quiet tug at your heart, a pull you can't ignore. It's a divine invitation to something greater, something that will stretch your soul and refine your spirit in ways you never imagined. But understanding the true nature of this call is where many fall short. So let me break it down for you. When God calls you, He's not simply asking you to take on a task. He's inviting you to walk in His divine purpose for your life. And make no mistake, this is not a light calling. It's not a simple request to follow a set of rules or to live a life of passive faith. God's call is a summons to something far more profound and transformative. It's a call to become an active participant in His divine will, to help shape the course of history through the way you live, the choices you make, and the strength you bring to others. But the true understanding of this calling goes beyond just knowing that you've been chosen. It's about understanding why you were chosen, and more importantly, what God is asking of you in this moment. God's call is not just about what you can do for Him, it's also about what He wants to do through you. There's a purpose behind this calling, a purpose that is greater than your own desires, greater than your own understanding. When you were chosen, God saw something in you that you may not have even seen in yourself. There was a strength, a resilience, a unique quality that only you possess. And in His divine wisdom, He chose you to walk this path because He knew you had the potential to carry out His mission. But here's the thing. This divine calling isn't easy. It requires sacrifice, endurance, and a willingness to give up your own desires for the greater good of God's plan. This is not a calling for the faint-hearted. It's a calling for those who are ready to be refined, shaped, and molded into the vessel God needs them to be. And that's where the challenge begins. Many of us hear God's call and feel the excitement of being chosen. But when the reality sets in, when the weight of that calling begins to press down on us, that's when doubts start creeping in. You may begin to wonder, why me? Am I truly equipped for this? You might even question if you're the right person for the job. But let me assure you, God doesn't call the equipped, He equips the called. This divine call is not about your own abilities or qualifications. It's about your willingness to step into the unknown, to trust that God will provide you with everything you need to fulfill your purpose. You don't have to have all the answers right now. You don't have to be perfect or have every detail figured out. All you need is a heart that's willing to follow, a spirit that's open to God's guidance, and the faith to walk forward even when the path isn't clear. The journey of being called by God is often one of transformation. You will not walk the same after answering this call. God will take you through seasons of growth, where He will stretch you, challenge you, and refine you. And through these seasons, You may find yourself feeling uncomfortable, even resistant at times. But it's in those moments of discomfort that God is working the hardest in your life. He's breaking down the walls you've built, removing the impurities in your heart, and preparing you for the next stage of your divine purpose. The divine call also means that you are being set apart. When you are called by God, there is a certain separation that takes place. You will no longer be able to blend into the crowd. You are chosen to be a beacon of light in a dark world, and this comes with its own set of challenges. As you walk in your calling, you may find that others no longer understand you, or that the relationships you once had no longer fit. This can be isolating and lonely at times. But remember this: God is never going to leave you without the support you need. He will surround you with people who are on the same journey, people who understand your struggles and can walk alongside you in faith. But that doesn't mean the road will be easy. Being chosen means walking a path of sacrifice. You will have to let go of things, people, and mindsets that no longer align with God's purpose for you. You may have to walk away from things that you've held on to tightly, things that have provided comfort or security. But when God calls you, He asks for total surrender. It's about giving up your will and embracing His. It's about saying, "I trust you, God. I trust that your plan is greater than my own." In this process of surrender, you'll also begin to discover the depths of God's love and grace. The more you let go of your own desires, the more you open yourself up to receive the fullness of His love. And let me tell you, there is nothing more fulfilling than living out your divine purpose. It's not always easy, but it is always worth it. The peace that comes from knowing you're walking in alignment with God's will surpasses any earthly comfort or success. God's calling doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone around you. Your obedience to His call will bring blessings not just into your life, but into the lives of those you are meant to impact. Your divine purpose is interconnected with the destinies of others, and through your obedience, you will bring glory to God. Every step you take in alignment with His will brings the world closer to the divine truth it needs. The divine call is not something you can ignore. Once you've heard it, your life will never be the same. You will either walk in the calling God has placed on your life, or you will resist it, which brings its own struggles. But trust me, walking in your calling will bring you peace, fulfillment, and a sense of purpose that you cannot find anywhere else. So, chosen one, understand that this call is not an accident. It is a divine invitation to step into the life you were always meant to live. It's an invitation to rise above the ordinary, to be transformed into something extraordinary, and to fulfill the purpose God has set before you. Answer the call with all your heart, and you will see how everything in your life will align with His divine plan. The struggles of carrying others. Chosen one, you are familiar with the weight of carrying others. It's a burden that many people don't understand, but it's something you've been doing for as long as you can remember. You are the one who others turn to in their time of need. When they are broken, you are the one they call. When they need guidance, it's you they seek. You've been the rock for so many, the pillar of strength they lean on. But who supports you when you are the one who is weary? The struggle of being chosen is that you are often expected to be strong for everyone, yet you find yourself being left alone in your own struggles. You have a heart that is open to others, a spirit that longs to help, and a soul that understands the pain of others. But the constant outpouring of your energy, your love, and your strength begins to take its toll. You are constantly giving, constantly serving, constantly carrying the burdens of those around you. It feels like no matter how much you give, it's never enough. You give your time, your wisdom, your support, your resources, and still the demand never ends. It's as if you are a well that people continually draw from, but you never seem to be filled back up. At times, you may wonder, why is it always me? Why does everyone come to me, and yet I have no one to turn to? The reality of being chosen is that you are often called to be the strength for others while you are feeling your own weaknesses. You are expected to have the answers when you don't even know what the next step is. You are expected to provide comfort when your own heart is aching. And while people look to you for stability, You may feel like you're barely holding on to your own sense of peace. This struggle is amplified because, as a chosen one, you can sense things deeply. You feel the pain of others, the weight of their burdens, the heaviness in their hearts. This is a gift, but it can also be a curse. You absorb the pain of those around you, sometimes without even realizing it. It's as if you take on the brokenness of the world, carrying it as your own. And when that happens, your spirit becomes overwhelmed. You may begin to feel like you are drowning, weighed down by the expectations of others and the overwhelming emotions that you carry for them. You've been the one to hold others up when they couldn't stand on their own. You've been the one to guide them when they were lost. You've been the one to speak life into their hopelessness. But who does that for you? Where do you go when your own strength is running low and no one is there to lift you? This is the painful paradox of being chosen. You are called to be a lifeline for others, but it often feels like you have no lifeline yourself, and yet you keep going. You keep showing up for others, even when you have nothing left to give. You keep pouring yourself out because that's what you've been called to do. But let me tell you this, no one can give from an empty cup. No one can continue to pour from a vessel that's run dry. And if you're not careful, you will find yourself spiritually depleted, emotionally drained, and physically exhausted. At some point, you must learn to take a step back. You must recognize that it's okay to not always be the strong one. It's okay to say, I need help. It's okay to take time for yourself, to replenish your spirit and refuel your soul. The weight of carrying others should not be borne alone. Just as you have been there for others, you must allow others to be there for you. God has placed people in your life to support you, to lift you up when you are down, and to walk alongside you when the road gets tough. But you must be willing to let them in. You must be willing to receive the love and support that you so freely give to others. The struggle of carrying others also means that you often put yourself last. Your needs, your desires, your dreams take a back seat to the needs of others. You neglect your own well-being because you are too focused on making sure everyone else is okay. But this is a trap. The more you ignore your own needs, the more you weaken your ability to serve others. You cannot pour into others from an empty vessel. If you don't take time to nurture your own soul, you will find yourself burned out and disconnected from your divine purpose. This is why God calls for balance. Yes, you are called to serve others, to be there for them in their time of need, but you are also called to take care of yourself. You must remember that you are a vessel for God's love and strength. If you are constantly giving and never receiving, you will dry up. And when that happens, you will have nothing left to give. It's okay to acknowledge your limits. It's okay to say, I need time to rest, to recharge, to connect with God. You are not meant to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders alone. Yes, you are strong, but even the strongest warriors need to rest. Even the most powerful leaders need to take time to renew their strength. God will not ask you to give more than you are capable of, and He will always provide the rest and renewal you need when you seek it. So, chosen one, I urge you to remember this. You can't carry others if you don't first carry yourself. You are not weak for needing rest. You are not failing by taking time to recharge. In fact, it is in those moments of stillness and rest that God will renew your strength and fill your cup so you can continue the work He has set before you. You are not meant to burn out. You are meant to shine. And in order to do that, you must learn to take care of yourself as well as others. Only then will you be able to continue carrying the burdens of others without losing yourself in the process. Divine separation, a time for reflection and renewal. Chosen one, the path you walk is not always one of ease. It's a journey that at times requires solitude, an intentional separation from the world and even from others. You may have already experienced this divine separation, this moment where God calls you away from the noise, the distractions, and the demands of those around you. It can be a difficult season, one that feels isolating, but I want you to understand that this separation is not punishment, it's divine preparation. There are times in our spiritual journey when God needs us to be set apart, not to distance us from His love, but to strengthen us, refine us, and prepare us for the next step in our divine calling. This separation is not just about being alone physically. It's about creating the space for reflection, renewal, and deeper communion with God. It's during these times of separation that God works on you in ways that wouldn't be possible if you were constantly surrounded by people or caught up in the busyness of life. You see, God understands the weight of your calling, and He knows that there are seasons where you cannot continue to pour out into others if you have not first been filled. This is the season where He pulls you aside, away from the noise and chaos, to restore you. You may find yourself withdrawing from people, from responsibilities, and from the expectations that others have placed on you. And in that withdrawal, you may begin to feel disconnected, unsure, or even abandoned. But let me tell you, this is not abandonment. It is divine withdrawal. It is a purposeful separation for a time of deeper healing, renewal, and spiritual growth. Just as a plant needs time to grow roots deep into the soil before it can bear fruit, so too do you need time to sink your roots deeper into the Word of God, into prayer, and into the quiet place where only He can speak to your soul. This is a season where you are not just being separated from others, but also being united more deeply with your Creator. In these moments, you may feel the weight of the world on your shoulders. You may be overwhelmed by the needs of those around you, and yet you may feel as though no one understands your own need for rest and restoration. It is during these times of solitude that God calls you into His presence, not to make you feel alone, but to prepare you for what is coming next. The divine call on your life requires periods of solitude because it's in those moments that God can truly work in your heart, free from the distractions of this world. Consider the examples of great leaders and prophets throughout history: Moses, David, Jesus. Each of them experienced times of separation. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness, learning to trust God in the silence. David spent years hiding in caves, alone with his thoughts, his pain, and his worship. Jesus himself withdrew to the wilderness to fast and pray before he began his public ministry. These were not times of abandonment, but rather times of preparation for greater things to come. In the same way, your divine separation is not punishment. It is a time of spiritual renewal, where God allows you to rest, heal, and reflect. You are not running away from your responsibilities. You are stepping into a holy space where you can recharge spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. You are entering a time of self-reflection, where you can hear God more clearly, align yourself more fully with His will, and prepare for the greater work He has set before you. During this season of separation, you may find yourself asking tough questions. You may wonder if you're doing the right thing, if you're truly on the right path, or if you're missing something. But don't be afraid of these questions. Don't be afraid to sit with your doubts and uncertainties. This is the time for God to reveal more of Himself to you. It's in this quiet place that He can show you the next steps, confirm your purpose, and reassure you that you are not forgotten. God's purpose for your life is not defined by what you do for others, but by what He is doing in you. In the silence, He refines your heart. In the separation, He purifies your motives. And in the stillness, He builds your faith. You see, when you are constantly surrounded by the needs of others, you may begin to lose sight of your own needs. You may neglect your own heart, your own spirit, and your own relationship with God. The divine separation allows you to focus inwardly, to align your heart with God's, and to ensure that you are spiritually healthy and strong for the journey ahead. It is also a time to rediscover your identity. You may have become so focused on serving others that you've lost sight of who you truly are in God. You may have forgotten that before you were chosen to serve others, you were chosen to be God's beloved child. During this time of separation, God calls you back to that truth. He reminds you of who you are, what you are capable of, and why He called you in the first place. This period of divine separation is not forever. It is a season. It may feel long and lonely at times, but trust that God is working in ways you cannot see. He is strengthening you, preparing you, and restoring your soul. And when the time is right, He will call you back into the world to fulfill your mission with renewed strength, purpose, and clarity. Do not fear this season of solitude. Embrace it as a time of divine renewal. Take this opportunity to rest in the presence of God, to reflect on His goodness, and to reconnect with the heart of your calling. When you return to the work He has set before you, you will do so with a deeper understanding of His love, a stronger sense of purpose, and a renewed strength that will carry you through the next phase of your journey. Remember, God does not separate you to leave you alone. He separates you to draw you closer. And in that closeness, you will find the power, the wisdom, and the peace you need to continue your divine journey. So, Chosen One, embrace this season with open arms, knowing that it is preparing you for something greater. God has not forgotten you. He is simply preparing you for what's to come. The divine power to replenish 1,100 to 1,200 words. Chosen One, you've been through it all, haven't you? You've given your strength, your time, your wisdom, and your energy to others. You've carried the burdens of those around you, lifted their spirits, and walked beside them through their struggles. You've poured out everything you have, and it's often felt like there's nothing left for yourself. But here's the truth that I need you to understand. God's divine power to replenish you is never far away. The more you give, the more He will fill you up. But first, you must recognize that He is your source, and He is always ready to restore what you have lost. When you are chosen by God, you are called to pour into others. That's part of your divine purpose. You are a vessel of His love, His wisdom, and His power. But here's the thing. Just because you are called to give doesn't mean that you are supposed to give endlessly without being refilled. You are not a never-ending well. You cannot pour from an empty cup, no matter how much you may want to help. And this is where many chosen ones struggle. They give, and eventually, they begin to feel drained. They start to feel as though their energy has been depleted, and the weariness takes over. But what if I told you that there is a divine solution to this exhaustion? What if I told you that God has already provided everything you need to replenish your strength and continue the work He has set before you? God's divine power to replenish is limitless. It is not based on your own strength, but on His. You cannot rely on your own ability to keep going forever, but you can rely on the never-ending supply of God's grace. His power is like a river that flows continually, and all you have to do is drink from it. The more you connect with Him, the more you allow His power to flow through you, the more you will find your own strength being renewed. This is a divine exchange, your weakness for His strength, your limitations for His boundless power. But the first step in receiving this replenishment is recognizing your need for it. Many of us, especially the chosen ones, struggle to admit that we are tired. We are so focused on serving others and fulfilling our purpose that we forget to take care of ourselves. But God is clear. He never intended for you to do this alone. He never intended for you to carry the weight of the world without His help. And He never intended for you to run on empty. You were not designed to give without being refilled. You were designed to give and then to give your strength and to receive His. So how do you tap into this divine power? It starts with surrender. You must surrender your exhaustion to God. You must acknowledge that you cannot do this alone, that you need His help, and that you are open to receiving His strength. This requires humility, the humility to admit that you need to be replenished, that you cannot pour out from a place of depletion anymore. When you are able to do this, when you open yourself up to God's replenishing power, you will begin to feel the strength of His Spirit filling you once again. Another key aspect of receiving God's replenishment is spending time in His presence. This is where many chosen ones miss the mark. We get caught up in the busyness of life, the demands of others, and the responsibilities we carry, and we forget to make time to be alone with God. But it is in these quiet moments of communion with God that His power can truly fill you. Through prayer, worship, and meditation on His Word, you allow God's presence to surround you and strengthen you. This is not just about asking God to replenish you. It's about being in His presence long enough for His power to do its work in you. Think about it this way. When you spend time in His presence, it's like plugging your spiritual device into the charger. You can't expect to stay fully charged if you never take the time to plug in. Similarly, you can't expect to stay spiritually energized if you don't make time to be filled by God. The more time you spend with Him, the more His power will overflow in your life, replenishing your strength and renewing your soul. Another vital component of divine replenishment is trust. You must trust that God is not only able to restore your strength, but that He desires to do so. He knows your struggles. He sees the weariness in your heart. He knows the weight you carry, and He wants to lighten your load. But He needs you to trust Him enough to let go of the idea that you have to do it all yourself. When you trust God with your exhaustion and your weakness, you open the door for His power to flow freely into your life. You must believe that His strength is sufficient for you, that in your weakness, His power is made perfect. Trust also means that you need to let go of the guilt and shame that comes with admitting your need for replenishment. Many of us feel like we are failing if we admit that we are tired or that we need help. But this is a lie. You are not weak for needing to be replenished. You are human. And God knows that you can't keep going without His strength. He designed you this way, so you would rely on Him. It is not a sign of weakness to depend on God. It is a sign of wisdom. You may also experience divine replenishment through the people God places in your life. As a chosen one, you are not meant to walk this journey alone. Yes, there will be times when God calls you to solitude, but there will also be times when He calls others into your life to lift you up. There are people in your life, whether friends, family, or fellow believers, who are part of God's plan to replenish you. They may offer a word of encouragement, a listening ear, or practical help when you are in need. Recognize that these people are vessels of God's grace, sent to refresh and strengthen you. And here's the beauty of God's replenishment. It is never temporary. The world offers temporary fixes to exhaustion, but God's power is eternal. When He replenishes you, He doesn't just fill you for a moment, He fills you for the long haul. His strength does not run out, and neither will yours when you stay connected to Him. Chosen one, it's time to stop relying on your own strength. It's time to stop pouring from an empty cup. God is offering you the replenishment you need. His divine power is always available, always ready to fill you to the brim, and always sufficient for whatever you face. All you need to do is open yourself to it. Drink deeply from His well of strength, rest in His presence, and trust that He will provide for you in every way. God has not called you to burn out. He has called you to burn brightly, and He will give you the power to do so, again and again, until His work is complete in you. Embracing your role as a leader. Chosen one, it's time to understand the weight and the honor that comes with the role you've been called to. Leadership isn't something you can shy away from, nor is it something you were meant to take lightly. When God calls you to lead, He isn't just giving you a position of authority or influence. He's entrusting you with His purpose, His vision, and His mission. As one who has been chosen, you are not merely a follower in this world. You are a leader. And it's time for you to fully embrace the power, responsibility, and divine authority that come with this role. The first thing you need to understand is that leadership in God's kingdom is different from what the world defines as leadership. The world teaches us that leadership is about power, recognition, and status. But in God's eyes, leadership is about service, sacrifice, and stewardship. True leaders are those who are willing to serve others without seeking personal gain. They are those who lay down their lives for a greater cause, the cause of God's kingdom. As a leader, your strength doesn't come from your own abilities or charisma, but from your alignment with God's will and your willingness to be His instrument in the world. The call to leadership can often feel daunting, especially when you look around and see the weight of the responsibility ahead. You may feel inadequate, unprepared, or unqualified. But let me remind you of something important. God does not call the equipped, He equips the called. Your strength as a leader will not come from your natural abilities or your experience. It will come from your connection with God and your willingness to trust Him with every decision, every action, and every moment. When you surrender yourself to God, He will empower you with everything you need to lead effectively and faithfully. You are never alone in this journey. Embracing your role as a leader starts with understanding your purpose. God has placed you in a position to impact the lives of others, to guide them toward His truth, and to be a beacon of light in a world filled with darkness. Your leadership is not about you. It's about the people you are called to serve, the ones God has placed in your life for a reason. Your influence is meant to bring glory to God, to draw others closer to Him, and to inspire them to walk in their own divine purpose. Your role as a leader is not about elevating yourself. It's about elevating God's kingdom. But this is where many leaders struggle. They get caught up in the need for recognition, for validation, or for acknowledgement. But I urge you, Chosen One, do not seek the applause of men. Seek the approval of God. When you lead with a heart devoted to Him, the praise of the world will not matter. In fact, you may even face criticism, rejection, and opposition. And in those moments, remember that God's approval is all that matters. He will never leave you or forsake you, and He will equip you to lead according to His will. Leadership is also about humility. As a leader, you are called to serve others, not to dominate or control them. The greatest leaders are those who are willing to get their hands dirty, who are willing to stand alongside their followers and guide them through life's challenges. True leadership means putting others' needs above your own and leading by example. Jesus Himself showed us this when He washed the feet of His disciples. He humbled Himself, not because He had to, but because He wanted to show us that true leadership is about service and sacrifice. This is the kind of leader you are called to be. You are not called to stand above others, to dictate or command. You are called to walk alongside them, to lift them up when they fall, and to guide them toward God's truth. Your leadership is about love. Love for God, love for others, and love for the mission He has given you. Without love, your leadership will fall short, but with love you will inspire others to rise up and fulfill their own divine calling. Another important aspect of leadership is vision. As a leader, you must have a clear vision of where God is leading you, and you must be able to communicate that vision to others. A leader without vision is like a ship without a rudder, lost and aimless. God has given you a vision for your life and for the people you lead. It may not always be clear at first, but as you seek God's will and draw closer to Him, He will reveal the next steps. And as you follow His lead, you will be able to cast a vision that inspires and motivates others to join you in fulfilling God's mission. Vision isn't just about seeing the future. It's about having the faith to trust that God will bring His plan to fruition, even when the path ahead is unclear. It's about leading with confidence, knowing that God is with you every step of the way. And it's about encouraging others to see what you see, God's purpose for their lives and the greater purpose that you are all working toward. Your leadership isn't just about directing people. It's about helping them see the potential in themselves and the world around them. It's about inspiring them to step into their own divine calling. As you embrace your role as a leader, you will also face challenges. There will be moments when you feel overwhelmed, unsure, or even discouraged. But these challenges are part of the process. They are opportunities for growth, for strengthening your faith, and for deepening your reliance on God. Leadership is not about avoiding challenges. It's about facing them with the strength and wisdom that God provides. It's about trusting Him in the midst of uncertainty and relying on His guidance in every decision you make. Remember, Chosen One, leadership is not about being perfect. It's about being faithful. It's about walking in obedience to God's call, even when the road gets tough. You may stumble along the way, but as long as you keep your eyes fixed on God, you will find the strength to continue moving forward. You are not alone in this journey. God is with you, and He will empower you to lead with His wisdom, His strength, and His love. In closing, embracing your role as a leader is a process. It's not something that happens overnight. It takes time, patience, and a deep commitment to God's purpose. But as you walk in obedience, as you seek His guidance, and as you serve others with love and humility, you will find that God is faithful to equip you for every challenge. He has called you for a reason, and He will see you through to the end. So, Chosen One, step into your leadership role with confidence. The world needs your light, your strength, and your love. And through God, you will lead with power, grace, and purpose. Conclusion: restoring balance and moving forward. Chosen One, as we come to the end of this message, remember this: your journey is not one of endless struggle, but one of divine purpose and balance. God has called you to a path that requires strength, but also requires rest. He has entrusted you with leadership, with love, and with a mission far greater than you could ever imagine. But he also calls you to maintain balance between giving and receiving, between serving others and nurturing your own soul. The road you walk is not easy. There will be seasons of exhaustion, of feeling overwhelmed, and of wondering if you have anything left to give. But know this: God's divine power is always available to replenish you. He has already provided everything you need to continue walking in your calling. Your strength does not come from your own abilities, but from His never-ending supply of grace, wisdom, and power. As you move forward, take time to reconnect with God. Seek His presence, His wisdom, and His guidance. Allow Him to renew your strength and restore your spirit. Embrace the seasons of separation when He calls you to rest, knowing that these times are just as important as the moments of service. Moving forward doesn't mean rushing ahead without rest. It means walking in step with God's timing. Trust in His process and believe that everything you are doing is part of a greater plan. As you restore balance in your life, you will find that you can continue to lead, serve, and impact the world around you, not from a place of depletion, but from a place of divine empowerment. Chosen one, keep walking forward. God has called you, equipped you, and will sustain you. Your journey is only beginning, and His plan for you is unfolding beautifully. Keep moving in faith.